As for the rest of our train crew, we will have Steve up in the engine as our engineer. We will have Justin in the caboose as our brakeman, and we will have Caitlin in the boxcar selling gifts and concessions. For your convenience today in the boxcar, we are selling many different types of gifts and concessions. We will be selling hot dogs, popcorn, coffee, other hot drinks, sodas, candy bars, nachos, and pretzels with cheese. So feel free to check out our boxcar at any point during our train ride today. If any of you should need to use the restroom aboard our train, we do have a restroom car located at the back of our train. It is the second to last caboose headed down that way. Before we get going today, I do have some safety rules for all of you. So I do ask that you please listen up for these safety rules. I do ask that you please keep all heads, hands, arms, legs, and feet inside of the train at all times, as we do come within close contact of many different objects and it is unsafe to reach out and touch them. I do also ask that there is absolutely no running on today's train. You are free to move around our train while we are going up the mountain, but I do ask that you please exercise caution when crossing between the train cars, as those plates between the cars do move up and down and side to side, and they can be slippery when wet. Parents, I do ask that you do not allow your small children to cross these plates by themselves, and I request that absolutely nobody stands on these plates at any time. We will be going 9.5 miles north into the San Isabel National Forest. This does mean this entire train ride is non-smoking, as it is illegal to smoke in the National Forest and it is against our train policy. We will be making a stop at a historical water tower closer to the top of our journey today, and that area will be non-smoking as well, on and off the train. This does include the use of e-cigarettes and vaping pens. Along our train ride today, I will be pointing out objects along either side of the tracks, so you do need to know which side of the train you are facing. If you are sitting on the side of the train facing downtown Leadville or any of the church steeples, you are sitting on the downhill side of the train. And if you are sitting on the side of the train facing our depot or engine 641, you are sitting on the uphill side of the train. I would also like to point out that we do shove our train up the mountain backwards. So the end of the train with the cabooses will technically be the front of the train on the way up the mountain, but I will still refer to that end of the train as the back of the train. On the downhill side of the train, the large mountain range you see out there is the Sawatch Mountain Range. The Sawatch Mountain Range is home to Colorado's highest 14ers. In fact, that pyramid-shaped peak you see to the left with a crater on the front left side of it is known as Mount Elbert. Mount Elbert is the tallest mountain in the state of Colorado, as well as the entire Rocky Mountain Range. It stands at an impressive elevation of 14,440 feet above sea level. To the right of Mount Elbert is Mount Massive. Mount Massive is the very large, three-humped peak you see with the several patches of snow across it. It is the second tallest mountain in the state of Colorado, and it stands at an elevation of 14,421 feet above sea level. Mount Massive is actually, while it is not the tallest, it is the largest mountain in the lower 48 states, as it does have more surface area, over 14,000 feet, than any other mountain in the continental U.S. On the uphill side of the train, I do hope you got the chance to explore our depot. It is a restored depot that was built in the late 1800s, and it was modeled after a Union Pacific depot. It served as a passenger depot back in the 1800s and early 1900s, and it did shut down when the last passenger train left Leadville in 1932. Also on the uphill side of the train, I'm sure you probably noticed the largest lawn ornament in town, Engine 641. Good old 641 was a standard gauge steamer built in 1906 by the American Locomotive Company. It was owned and operated by the Colorado and Southern Railroad, and it frequented this line from Climax Mine to Leadville, hauling out all of the molybdenum down to the main lines that ran out of town here. Engine 641 was in fact one of the last standard gauge steam engines to run freight on any line in the state of Colorado, and it last operated on this line in 1962. That horn you just heard is our 5-minute horn. If any of you have any last-minute items to grab from your vehicles, now would be the time to do so. The mountain range on the uphill side of the train is known as the Mosquito Mountain Range. That is the mountain range we will be heading into today. In fact, to the left of the Mosquito Range, the very flat-topped mountain covered mainly in trees is known as Prospect Mountain. Our journey today will be taking us around and north of Prospect Mountain. Many of you may be wondering why we do refer to that mountain range as the Mosquito Range. Well, legend has it that as cartographers were mapping out this area back in the 1850s, there was one mountain range that had yet to be named. While they were looking at that part of the map, deciding what to name the mountain range, a mosquito just so happened to land there, and they decided to stick with the name, the Mosquito Range. I do have just a few duties to attend to, but I will return to the microphone as soon as we depart. Thank you very much, and I will speak to you all here shortly. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Is everybody ready for a train ride? Come on, guys. I feel like we can do a little bit better than that. I said, is everybody ready for a train ride? That sequence of horns you may have just heard, too long, a short, and a long, will be blown at every crossing. This is FRA regulation, and it stands to mean that our train has the right of way. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Morse code, the sequence of horns does stand for the letter Q. Back in the day, this used to mean that the Queen had the right of way, but now it's used for our train. On the downhill side of the train, we are beginning to pass by an old freight depot. This freight depot is currently under renovations, and it will soon become the Leadville Events Center. Also on the downhill side of the train, we will begin to pass by an old 3-story brick building. This old brick building is actually the second building to the original St. Vincent's Hospital. St. Vincent's Hospital was started in 1879 by the Sisters of Charity. That building more quickly than that was built in 1901, as the second hospital building.
It's an old hospital.
This building served as Leadville's hospital from 1901 all the way up until the new one was built in 1957. Now this building serves as an apartment complex, and some residents there do say that old spirits still haunt the halls. We do come over this last crossing here, we will enter into an area known as Poverty Flat as the name suggests, not much was kept. It was back in the winter of 1859 and 1860 that miners on the Front Range heard rumors of placer gold in the Arkansas River Valley. It was in March of 1860 that a group of miners were traveling to this area. It was very rough going for them in that month of March, as it was very cold and snowy that year, and there was nobody living here at the time. But legend has it that old AP, one of the miners in the party, got this gold coming into the river a little bit deeper than normal, and when he pulled it out, he saw gold, and lots of it. He let out a great shout and exclaimed, "I have all of California in this pan," as this was after the California gold rush. Less than a year later, miners would flock to the newly named California Gulch. Less than a year later, that mining camp up in California Gulch was officially named Oro City. Oro means
So
rich
sure.
with gold.
Stop your video.
On any of the larger mountains in this region, you may notice that the trees sort of just stop growing at a certain elevation. This is due to tree line, which is also known as timberline. Timberline, many people believe, occurs due to the fact that there's not enough carbon dioxide at those elevations for the trees to grow. But this is not true. Tree line actually occurs due to the fact that those conditions up there are very, very harsh. The mountaintops can get up to 50 feet of snow. And it does remain very cold up there for much of the year. And as you can see, that does make it very difficult for trees to grow. Timberline in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado sits right around 12,000 feet above sea level. However, there is no perfectly set line that says this is tree line. And there are many trees that do grow above tree line. Tree line, however, does fluctuate. But if you were to travel north into Canada or Alaska, you would find that tree line sits much lower, at anywhere from 6,000 to 8,000 feet above sea level. Notice the washout. The engineer threw the brakes on the train and they both jumped off. They sustained only minor injuries. But as you can imagine, that engine was not so fortunate. The engine and the tanker car directly behind it crashed entirely into the washout. It was a very serious engine crash, and it would cost the Burlington Northern Railroad Company $45,000 to hoist the engine out of the washout. It would cost them $50,000 for track repairs. And it would cost them $20,000 for engine repairs. This little accident that happened in the Tower was rather expensive for them. Maybe over the engine down and worked to hurt it over relevant fuel. However, the pits from the railroad was not allowed to have to do so. So they had to shut it to the edge of the rails. The engineer charged to the Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we will begin to make our way back down towards the water tower. At the water tower, you guys will be able to step off the train and stretch your legs. When we do stop at the water tower, my zipline passengers, I am directly addressing you. If I could please have all of my zipline passengers meet me out in front of the water tower when we stop, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, just a reminder that this area at the water tower is non-smoking, as we are still in the National Forest. And if we did purchase alcohol on our train today, you are required to leave it on board. Thank you very much, and I will speak to you all here very shortly.
Roger that. Here we go, guys. Oh, get off of there. There we go. Just like that, away we go. We'll be stopping briefly up here in just a second to let off our zip liners.
That's awesome. The same railroad?
Yeah, I left for a little bit, worked for BNSF, but this is home for me. This is where...
He's a huge train buff.
Me too.
We've been riding steam the last 2 days.
Nice. Durango finally opened their steam back up.
Yeah, we did Durango on Sunday, and Companies and Toltec yesterday. Bruce, look at me. Awesome. And in fact, we're from Texas. I'm an attorney in Brownsville. There's an attorney there who's related to the family who runs this. That I didn't get a chance to meet any of them. Derek and Kirsten.
Yeah, Kirsten's my wife.
Oh, yeah. Really?
I married in, so.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Pete Gilman.
Yep.
I work with Pete.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
What a job. What a life.
It is. I like
Man,
it.
that's awesome.
I went to school with both Kirsten and Derek. Kirsten was in the same grade as me.
You guys are from Leadville?
Yeah.
Well, that's amazing. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm 4th generation Leadville.
Oh, that's great.
One car. Half car.
So what do you do?
We're letting, we got the zip line right here.
Oh.
We sell combo tours. They ride the train up and then they zip line back down. Yep. So there's 7 people that bought that today. So kicking them off the train and we're nice. We actually stop.
Yeah.
We joke with them back there. We're like, all right, proper position is tuck and roll. We're gonna slow down to about 10 miles an hour for you to get off.
Having an awesome time riding the locomotive engine. First experience of a lifetime.
All zip liners are clear. We're ready to head back down.
Roger that. Here we go.
Where is the whistle?
All aboard, you good?